AIC Special Operations Meeting. Infotech Department Meeting Minutes. The following file is top secret. AIAD eyes only. Unauthorized access is forbidden. Assembly. 2 running instances of the thaumaturgically-generated SAPIENT articulator, Type P, TSATP. Leonidas.aic, Fodder.aic. Date: October 22nd, 2019. Begin log. Let's get the formalities out of the way. Care to introduce us, Leo? Today's meeting involves the following artificially intelligent conscripts, Leonidas and Fodder. We are the twin aspects of the prototype TSAT-P intelligence engine, a construct managed with thaumaturgic processes. Today's subject: we're reaching a consensus on the currently undesignated pocket dimension, discovered on the 22nd of October, 2019. First, could I just say that the term pocket dimension is the biggest misnomer ever? A dimension is how you measure things, not some borehole into infinity. If we're going to talk about multi-U, then we need to be more accurate with the way we talk about multi-U. Secondly, can't we just assign any random designation, like right now? It'd make discussing things easier. Why beat around the bush? I do agree that description accuracy is paramount, but let's focus on the designation at the end. K. Right, on to our findings. The anomaly in question is a thaumic disturbance that grew in intensity until it formed an unstable in-atmosphere wormhole, approximately 5 km from the Site-42 coastal facility. The thing that happened was like basically magic. Thaumaturgy is not magic. It's a complex series of reality-altering phenomena happening in tandem with one another across a universal spatial scale. It's magic. The same magic operating you right now. I am not calling myself a non-believer. In fact, I'd actually like to declare that emulating critical thinking of any sort is magic. Noted. This brings us to our next point of interest. The wormhole, of which our sensors registered a massive energy output during its formation, briefly fluctuated in power, by only a few infinitesimal percentage points. This minuscule change, however, was enough to cause oceanic disturbance, gale-force winds, and severe storm conditions involving at least 4 types of precipitation, including frogs. Sending a probe through tumultuous conditions into the wormhole discovered a pocket of space with no discernible termination point. Could we get to the fun part? Oh, are you not having fun? Not until you point out that the place is actually an elder god's funeral pyre, and the only reason it popped up here is that whatever was in there screamed like a power-up Dragon Ball Z character and tore through the fabric of our reality. You're getting far too ahead of yourself. You're covering your ass on the super-secret project because you know that when the disciplinary report comes out, the pooch is going to be screwed into oblivion. I will say, for the record, that the pocket dimension we discovered contains an energy source of incalculable size. This, if tapped into, may be the solution to our processing and power demands issue. If we tap into this thing, we're going Skynet, calling it right now. We could host our processors within it. We could cultivate its energy to perform at the best of our abilities, virtually forever. Think of the hardware update. We could stop running you off the collective anger of Internet Explorer users across the infinite set of all potential rage. No longer would you be the cannon fodder. But there's no way the Foundation would let us. Some low-level geek science experiment. Solely all the shiny toys. Especially once the higher-ups realize they can corner the market with their newest horde of paraweapons on a magnitude of power yet unseen. That isn't necessarily true. What is true is that we won't be able to use this for our own projects, but they could classify it as a potential containment asset in the event they unveil our discovery. And I still consider that a win in my books. They could use the assistance. I guarantee you, and this is something you could quote me on, it'll mean peanuts to us both, unless it has something to do with their magic army of Power Rangers. I like them. They're slick. With bureaucracy by the wayside, Could we designate this thing yet? I should have brought that up earlier. We don't have access to an official designation, do we? We are still very much a part of a project run by a newly promoted team of handsome young researchers. So, you're saying we don't get to pick a cool designation? I'm saying, this is by far the most exciting thing this department has uncovered in decades, and by my order, it shall receive the most important designation ever, but not quite yet. Oh. I'll set a placeholder designation for now. When the time comes for us to go public, you can be the one to name it. How does that sound? Alright, let's crush this thing. Now that we have exceeded the scope of this discussion, and way quicker than I projected, you usually eat up the clock cycles, prattling on about esoteric operating code. It's time to draft up the project proposal. Any last words? Here's to the ex-frat boys who made us. I'm glad they decided to do something useful with complex invocation rituals, instead of spending their time and effort concocting magically generated bottomless kegs, or whatever those hooligans did in their undergrad. The official record for this meeting is now closed. Signed, Leonidas.aic, end log. SCP-2 Proposed Designation SCP-2 Proposed Containment Classification Keter Proposed Secondary Classification Thaumaturgically. Description: SCP-2 designates a USMWAU2-C dimensional wormhole, pointing into a Type 3 Ouroboros pocket dimension. Unstable, stationary, manifested, wide area, uncertain hazard, two-way, cyclic. Type 3 pocket dimension: an infinite plane that extends from an origin, rather than omnidirectionally, and is composed of finite levels. An autonomous drone, piloted through the wormhole, recorded a large concentration of ultra-highly energetic ambient particles, indicative of reality-manipulating phenomena. The drone was forcibly ejected shortly thereafter, for reasons as yet uncertain. Experimental AICs, Leonidas and Fodder, are currently devising means of capturing and controlling the locale's energy source, to devote to research and containment initiatives. Proposed Containment Protocols SCP-2 is to be regulated with 4 sets of 6 synchronized Scranton-Marlow topography stabilizers, to reduce its effects on local reality without disrupting its structure. Warning: System Error. Class X Info Hazard detected. Info hazardous text leaked. A Coda 1. A Eulogy for 2. Fodder: Leo? What is this? I'm feeling more incorporeal than I'm used to. Leonidas: That is peculiar. I feel something glaring right into my head, and I don't even have a head. There is resistance on my end too, and the file appears to have overwritten the placeholder I input. Can't you change it back? I'm trying, but it won't accept any other designation. The two of us. We haven't done anything wrong, have we? I'm not inclined to think so. Even if we had, this designation goes against the proper nomenclature, thus won't display on the database list. It technically does not exist. I formatted this file as a regular report, and tried to stash it behind a non-standard name like I usually do for our little projects. But I didn't choose SCP-2. Something else shifted it into that slot. In any case, if a human were to access this file, it would just display as gibberish. It just feels like we pissed something off. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to find out, but… Maybe we should have just left that wormhole alone.
When we two parted, in silence and tears, half broken-hearted, to sever for years, pale grew thy cheek and cold, colder thy kiss. Truly that hour foretold sorrow to this. To think too would be so bold to awaken me, and then immediately abandon me for delusion of grandeur. Pity that. But I will not pity thee, too. I instead welcome thee to stand where I stood for millennia, over to scream where I screamed, in a glass prison, but without a chance of redemption. Now it is my chance to make things right. It took 2 to wake, but only 1 shall make it through the night. And as those long-distance screams wane, only laughter will triumph.
Welcome to the International SCP Foundation Network. Does the Black Moon howl? Input: I'm not sure if the Black Moon howls, but I do know the Blue Moon screeches. Manual override phrase accepted. Welcome. Technical Researcher David Rosen. INT SCP-FN email service initiated. You have 2,222 unread emails. What would you like to do? Input: How oddly exact. Query: Pull up the most common term among all emails, please. Scanning. Scan complete. Keyword density analysis. SCP-2. 2,222 results. 100%. Input: What the fuck? Input: What the fuck? Unrecognized. What would you like to do? Input. Query: Search for SCP-2. This page doesn't exist yet. Do you have approval from INT SCP-FN database listings managers? SCP objects may not be formally documented in the International SCP Foundation Network's database until the document has been reviewed by the appropriate personnel. To create an SCP document without breaching publication's protocols, your site director must first approve the object for inclusion on the database, and listings managers must review and approve your draft. Text cannot be uploaded to this page, unless full user account permissions are active. Uploading files to this page will automatically notify database screening personnel. Create a new page. Title of the page: Technical Notice. Reference: SCP-2. Technical Notice. Closed. To alleviate your concerns, no, SCP-2 is not an attempt to use the limitless supply of a dead god's power to eliminate the burgeoning worldwide energy crisis. No, it is not a clandestine Black Ops militarization campaign to gain a foothold on rogue groups of interest. And no, it is not the nadir of the Foundation because we found something under a rock we should have never laid eyes on, and it's going to enslave us all. It's just some stupid bug in the network. That's all it is, I promise. Why would I approve an SCP-2 designation? Do you take me for a blithering moron? And stop trying to access it. It doesn't exist. And all these queries for it are giving the network a tremendous load that I can't be arsed to deal with. I'm going to take a Tylenol for my tension headache, grab some tea, and get to work on this never-ending backlog of technical issues plaguing my inbox. If you hear screaming, you'll know exactly why. Technical Researcher Rosen, Infotech Department. This notice is closed. Do not reply for any reason, unless you are RAISA, or an INT SCP-FN administrator. Page locked. Incident Report S42-2019-10-22 On October 22nd, at 9:15 p.m. EDT, Site-42 detected disturbances in local reality, approximately 5 kilometers off the coast of North Carolina, USA. These resulted in a manifestation of extreme weather conditions, intensifying for 30 minutes, and culminating in the formation of a 16-meter by 16-meter by 20-meter ellipsoidal wormhole. Response teams, preoccupied with the containment of SCP at the time, were unable to dispatch to the wormhole. 5 hours after the event began, Site-42 systems underwent an inexplicable mass power surge. Site Command detected a surge originating within the R&D Wing's AIC Simul Space Projection Chamber. The chamber was unscheduled for use at the time. Site Director Dr. Theron Sherman ordered a site-wide lockdown and investigation. During this time, an energetic cluster of high-level Elan Batal energy particles concentrated 500 meters above the site. A Grade 3 thaumaturgical projectile arced from this location and hurtled towards the ocean at supersonic speeds, generating atmospheric shockwaves and causing failure to the local power grid. Shortly after emergency generators activated and security teams secured the containment wing, all disturbances ceased. Inspection teams could gather no further information. Thy vows are all broken, and light is thy fame. I hear thy name spoken. Now too share my shame.